We keep telling y'all that there are people coming in our communities and committing crimes against us and passing it off as black on black crime. 2 cops in Asbury Park busted again. One fired, another suspended. A suspended New Jersey police officer and a fired New Jersey police officer were busted for the second time in 3 months. Both were jailed too for misconduct in 2 New Jersey towns. Police officer Stephen Martinson, 30, and Special Law Enforcement Officer Thomas Dowling, 26, both of Asbury Park, were charged with 2 counts, each of second-degree official misconduct relating to 2 separate incidences of vandalism to 2 vehicles, both owned by the same person, prosecutors said. As a result of the charges, Martinson has been suspended from the Asbury Park Police Department without pay, and Dowling's employment with the city has been terminated. One of the vandalized vehicles was parked in Ocean Grove. The other was located in Asbury Park, prosecutors said. Both were vandalized between approximately 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. on or about Tuesday, September 3rd. Martinson and Dowling purposely damaged both vehicles, prosecutors said. The vehicle owner had filed an administrative complaint against both cops several days before the vandalism incident. Dowling and Martinson had previously been charged with 2 counts each of third-degree conspiracy, 2 counts each of third-degree possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose, a knife, 2 counts each of 4th-degree unlawful possession of a weapon, and 2 counts each of 4th-degree criminal mischief. Martinson has been part of the department since 2013, starting as a special law enforcement officer, Class 1, in May 2013. He became Class 2 in 2014 and then became a full-time member of the force July 2017. Dowling had been a Class 2 officer since May 2015.
A scandal in New Jersey. 2 officers are under arrest tonight. Investigators say the cops vandalized a man's car because he had filed complaints against him. It is happening in Asbury Park. New Jersey reporter Anthony Johnson spoke to the victim.
All the tires on this Jeep have been flattened. Apparently, each one was punctured by a knife. Plus, the back window on the passenger side was smashed. The car was vandalized while being parked on Main Street in Ocean Grove. Authorities say all this damage was done by 2 masked off-duty Asbury Park police officers seeking retribution against this man for filing an internal affairs report against those 2 cops.
It didn't even fathom to me that it was police officers.
On the same night, the victim's Prius parked in Asbury Park was also targeted with the tires being slashed.
I was shocked, and it like reinvigorated like a fear to think that I'm around these people all the time.
McNolly is known in the Asbury Park community for criticizing police and politics in the town. But authorities say that does not give anyone the right to go after someone just because they file reports against police.
We are aggressively and robustly trying to weed out those few and far between bad apples and make sure that if they're committing crimes, that they're going to face justice for that.
Authorities say they've recovered the knives used to damage the tires, the bikes used in the crime, and the mask the cops wore. Officer Stephen Martinson has been suspended without pay, and Special Officer Thomas Dowling has been terminated. Both face charges involving conspiracy, weapons, and criminal mischief.
How do I feel comfortable walking around here at night in my own home?
The prosecutor's office says the Asbury Park Police Department actually investigated this case and turned in the 2 officers.
Dowling and Martinson were accused of donning disguises. You mean like this one? So I've showed you this before. Now, these are masks. These are movie grade masks. This particular mask is called the Soul Man mask. And if you can see behind his eyes, you can see his real color and his hands. You can see the real color of his skin. But look how realistic this mask looks. Look at the mouth. All he needs is a little bit of makeup behind his eyes. Now, you hear people talk about people who do movies. Like, for instance, Tariq Nasheed. I've heard him say this before, but I've heard others also agree with him that these masks are always sold out. Where you go to rent them, they're always rented out. Somebody is renting the fuck out of these masks, right? And this one is called Derek. Okay. Let's see if I can stop it right at that point. Yes, it's called Derek. So I'm not saying that this particular case that they use this type of mask, but I want you to think a little bit. They're going to do what they need to do to fit into their environment in which they want to commit the act. And they were in Asbury Park. They just hopped on a bike. And if they were to come to your neighborhood to extract the same sort of vengeance towards you for filing a complaint, how would they blend in? What mask would they wear then? Yeah. Dowling and Martinson were accused of donning disguises and riding bicycles to slash the tires on two vehicles belonging to Ernest. You guys saw him. A white man. That's why they got caught. That's why this made the paper. Because they did this shit to a white man. So if they doing this to a white man, and you about to hear why. Because all of that, nobody said why. They just said because he did a complaint. They didn't tell you what the complaint was. If they did this to a white man, you know what they would do to your black ass. We see what they would do to your black ass. Look at the Botham Jean case. Joshua Brown. Okay? Dowling and Martins were accused of donning disguises and riding bicycles to slash the tires on two vehicles belonging to Ernest G. McNolly, an Asbury Park resident who had filed an internal affairs complaint against Dowling and Martinson around August 26th, according to an affidavit of probable cause filed against the pair. McNolly, 70, told the Asbury Park Press his complaint had to do with his belief that the pair were riding scooters in Asbury Park while drunk. McNolly describes himself as a concerned citizen and a freelance journalist who videotapes and photographs police activity. About a week after McNolly filed his complaint, Dowling and Martinson were off duty when they agreed to vandalize one of his cars in the early morning of September 3rd, the affidavit alleged. The document alleged they went to the Quaker Inn on Main Avenue in the Ocean Grove section of Neptune, where McNolly said he had been staying a while work was done on his apartment. He wasn't even at his house. That means they was following him. Martinson and Dowling put on masks and gloves and approached the vehicles on bicycles, the affidavit said. Martinson and Dowling, each armed with a knife, slashed the vehicle's four tires. Dowling also punched the Windows vehicle, causing injuries to his own right arm. Following the vandalism, Martinson went to the Walgreens at Route 33 and Neptune Boulevard in Neptune to get hydrogen peroxide and bandages for Dowling's bleeding arm, the affidavit said. Oh my God. They went to McNolly's other car on Deal Lake Drive in Asbury Park and slashed its four tires. Authorities found two masks, two sets of gloves, two knives in Dowling's vehicle. The police, they found the evidence. What the fuck? Clothing worn by Dowling and Martinson during the incident, as well as bloody bandages, were found in Dowling's home, the affidavit said. At the time of the initial charges, Gramaccioni had not ruled out the possibility of lodging official misconduct charges against the pair. I'm at a loss of words. I mean, what you want me to say? How much more obvious do you want shit to be?